Happy Halloween 2023, folks. And I wanted to do something Halloween related for Halloween. So I figured, well, what about the Halloween series, and in particular, the Michael Myers entries? For this particular video, I'm going to rank all of the films, in my opinion, starring Michael Myers, but I'm not going to touch Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. If you want to see my feelings on Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, that does not feature Michael Myers, you can see a review here. Look it up in my playlists, you'll find it. And I do a whole video just on that film, okay? So let's start going backwards, of course, with what I feel are the worst to best Halloween films. To start with, the worst is going to be Halloween 2, the version by Rob Zombie. I don't remember the exact year. The 21st century garbage, who the heck knows? Anyway, it's Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie version. Now, I saw it only once in the movie theater when it first came out. The only things I remember about it, the good, I'll give you the good first. I remember that Michael Myers was really savage, really animalistic and brutal, and there was a lot of grunting and noises and tough sounds that Michael made, guttural sounds. I like the sounds that Michael Myers made. I like the violent kill stuff, but the rest of it just really pissed me off. For one thing, I recall Malcolm McDowell being very, very bad as Dr. Loomis, and it was almost incomprehensible, the stuff he was saying and doing. It was so convoluted, I didn't know what the hell was going on, I remember. I also remember not liking the Laurie character as played by, who was it, Scout Taylor Compton or something along those lines. Sorry if I got it wrong, it doesn't really matter. I remember hating her character. This is not the Laurie I want to see. And I remember actually at one point doing something I never do in a movie theater. I got vocal, I got loud. I said, would somebody kill her, please? In other words, her character deserved to be killed. I couldn't care less about her. I did not like Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie version. Okay, so that's number 12 for me. At number 11, I'm going to go with the other Rob Zombie film, Halloween. We did not need a Rob Zombie Halloween film. I only saw it once in the theaters. Do not own it. Do not own either of these zombie films. Never will. And what I remember in the theater is that the first half, when you had an exploration of what made Michael Myers snap, why he was a kind of mixed up, crazy, dangerous kid, that part was more interesting. Later on, it just became a complete clone of the original Halloween with the same dialogue, talking about Ben Tramer, if I seem to remember from the first screening, and all kinds of things. Just trying to, like, name check things, have all the little points that everybody likes to hear. You didn't need, a duplicate of the first Halloween. At least the first half of Rob Zombie's Halloween was something different, something otherwise. But the whole thing about Michael Myers, though, is you're supposed to wonder why he does what he does. You're not supposed to have an explanation of him as a disturbed, crazy, maniacal teenager. That isn't what was supposed to happen with the Halloween films. And actually, if you want to make a story as good as the first half was about a crazy kid that starts killing animals and starts becoming a crazy serial killer, well, you could have made it any other serial killer kid movie. You didn't have to call it Halloween. So that's it for the two Rob Zombie movies. Now we're going to go on to what I have as number 10, a film that I also do not own. I do not own these lower three. This one I may wind up getting eventually if it's cheap enough. If I can get it for a couple of bucks. But we're now into the regular, more official original Halloween series, right? We're not talking about Rob Zombie. We're talking about the official Halloween series, okay? We have Halloween Resurrection bringing up the rear at number 10. Easily the worst for me of those films. It was idiotic, stupid. Seeing Busta Rhymes, doing kung fu on Michael Myers and all this stuff was absolutely idiotic. And the biggest sin of all is what happens to Jamie Lee Curtis's character Laurie in the film. I cannot believe that she allowed that to happen. I can't believe they allowed it to happen who made it, but I understand now the whole idea was they couldn't do Halloween H2O unless she agreed to do the Halloween Resurrection scene with Laurie's character, so she had to kind of do it. But really, really, really don't like it. These days, I think it's kind of interesting that at least they tried something different with the kind of like, I don't remember what it was, online camcording, website, live feed. That's a little interesting, but overall, you don't need Halloween Resurrection. I didn't. All right, number 9. Now we go into the movies that I actually have here. Number 9, Halloween Ends. We were all perplexed. As of this date, as of the date of this video, 2023, this is the most recent one of these, and one of the worst of these, if not the worst in some people's opinions. This is just absolutely ridiculous, where Michael Myers is just a kind of second here. He doesn't even really do the killing the way he should. You have somebody else to take in his place. That's unforgivable. And I just feel Jamie Lee Curtis is wasted in this. It's really silly the way they went. The story of the babysitter and all that, and completely throwing you for a loop here. It's not who we want to see be the bad guy, the main bad guy in a Halloween film. All right, next up we have at number 8, we have Halloween 5. I don't know what it is about this movie. This movie starts out really good. I remember in the theater loving the beginning touch with kind of like Michael Myers after a scene, the mine shaft sequence from the end of part 4 gets flushed down a river, and he winds up being cared for by like an old hermit. Reminded me of Bride of Frankenstein, the classic film from 35. And then after that, it just gets absolutely out of control. A lot of boring stuff going on in here. The mask is terrible. The Michael Myers mask is the worst in the series, I think, from what I can remember here. I really hate the mask in here. I gotta say, Danielle Harris tries real hard. She does a good job. But other than that, no good. Surprisingly, the next film that I have at number 7, I put ahead of Halloween 5. And that's Halloween 6. The Curse of Michael Myers, the producer's cut. I can't stress that enough. It's the unrated producer's cut that I prefer, but it's still not very good. I actually am one of the few people that like the idea that they kind of linked Michael Myers to the Thorn cult, the idea that Michael Myers as a child was kind of like corrupted and taken over by this kind of, I don't know, this cult that kind of like tries to take over young children and makes them kill their family members. I kind of like that idea. A lot of people did not like that. They didn't like having any kind of explanation as to why Michael does what he does. I like it, but it's not very well done. It's not a good movie. Unfortunately, a good idea, I think, but it could have been handled better. All right. So now we have the 6th film in my list, Halloween Kills, one of the more recent films. The thing that really makes this stand out for me as number 6 and not so much near the bottom is because there are good kill scenes in here. It says Halloween Kills. The kills are very good. If you're looking for kill scenes, this will deliver the kill scenes. But of course, there's all that nonsense going on in there when the villagers are hunting down Michael Myers and saying, "Evil dies tonight, evil dies tonight, evil dies tonight." That kind of chanting, that stupidity, that kind of ruins it. And all the nonsense in here that I remember. I haven't seen it in a while, since the theater, I think. The whole thing with like a patient being chased. They chased this patient, a case of like mistaken identity, kind of, if I remember. Yeah, the kills are good, but that's it. All right, so now we go to number 5. This is the top 5 Halloween films for me. Number 5 will be the 2018 reboot. The first one, Halloween 2018. I think this was pretty good. When I first saw it in the theaters, I was disappointed. Second time around, I thought it was better. Jamie Lee comes back as Laurie again to kind of confront Michael Myers. I didn't like this confrontation between Laurie and Michael as much as I liked another film that I'll be talking about later when you give me some time. I thought that it's good to see Jamie Lee again, but really it's really getting nauseating at this point. She came back before to much better effect earlier in the late 90s. Now she's back again, 21st century. Enough, but Yeah, this is not that bad of a Halloween film. This is actually, and it has a lot of Halloween feel to it. It feels like it's Halloween. It's got that Halloween aura about it. This is not bad. All right, now we go to my opinion, the top four Halloween films. Number four is Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers. You know, after they went with Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which did not feature Michael, they knew that they had to get back to the Michael Myers character, and he returns in Halloween 4. I got to give kudos to Danielle Harris again, a really good young actress who does a fine job in here. Donald Pleasence returns, and it's welcome to see him return. The Michael Myers mask in here is not good either. Despite what the cover looks like, the mask in the film doesn't really work too well. But yeah, this is the fourth best. I love the whole beginning part when they're transferring Michael from one hospital to another in the ambulance. I love all that stuff, all that kind of historical stuff. When the guy who works in the psycho ward is saying stuff like, boy, I'm really be glad to see this one go. I tell you, Jesus ain't got nothing to do with this place, and that kind of stuff. And his doctor of all people was the one who did. He talks about Michael as though he's a legend, and I like that. But anyway, now of course the top three, and a lot of you Halloween fans know the three that are remaining. These are my personal favorite three. I wouldn't mind if they only made these three films and ended it there. If they only made these three films, I think it's the best way to go. Number three, the underrated, criminally underrated by fans, Halloween H2O, aka Halloween 20 Years Later. Jamie Lee came back in 1998 to give back to the fans. Much to her credit, she comes back and she knows how important her career was to Halloween, how much she owes to the character of Laurie Strode. So she was willing to come back for this, and it is a good film. I love it. It's well directed. I think Steve Miner, who directed Friday the 13th 2 and 3, I think. Oh, I'm jumping the gun here. I hope I got it right. He directs. I think Jamie Lee is wonderful in here, because she's dealing with personal demons. I love her whole idea that she's got to confront her Frankenstein monster. In a way, Michael Myers is her personal demon, her Frankenstein monster. She feels a parallel between the Mary Shelley story with Frankenstein the monster, having to confront him. And I really love the showdown. The showdown between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode in this, much better than, in my opinion, than 2018. I think it's much better here. I love the moment where she locks up the skates in the school. It's just her and Michael, and she goes charging down the hall. Michael! And she's got the axe, and she's going, she's ready to kick his ass. And this was the perfect way to end the series. This is the perfect way to end the series. It should have ended here. It did not end here. The explanation that they give for this ending not being the end, this should have been the end of Michael. Perfect ending. The explanation they give in Halloween Resurrection as to what happened here and how Michael survived the ending here is one of the worst excuses to keep a series going that I've ever heard. That Halloween Resurrection really taints the effectiveness of this movie. Okay, you know what's left? The last two. Halloween 2, the real Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2. Halloween 2 from 1981. What can you say? This is more like a hardcore Friday the 13th type slasher film. Michael is more of a mindless killer that just goes around like Jason or something, killing people. I love the kills in this movie, the hot tub or jacuzzi scene, whatever it is. And the kills are good in here. Donald Pleasence is great in here. Jamie Lee doesn't have anything to do except crawl around in a hospital. It is ridiculous. I've said this many times. It is ridiculous how the hospital that she's in this movie is always empty. There's nobody in there except for her. It feels like, almost nobody else. Pretty ridiculous how desolate that hospital is. Stupid. How abandoned and vacant it is when it should be buzzing with people and workers and staff. Yeah, but it has a real good Halloween feel. It's still the same night. It takes place right after the original Halloween. It's as they build it, and as it say it here, I don't know. It says originally it was billed as more of the night he came home. The original Halloween was billed as The Night He Came Home, and Halloween 2 says More of the Night He Came Home. Takes place the same evening. I love that, how it's all one movie. All right, and of course that leaves us with John Carpenter's Halloween. I don't have anything really to say about this, except that, I'll do proper reviews of these movies. I never really reviewed these properly. One day I'll do them all individually. Um, I'm not the biggest fan of the original Halloween, but I think it is the best of the Halloween movies. The only reason I say that is because even though I was kind of old enough to see this when it first came out, I didn't see it. I didn't catch Halloween till after I saw Halloween 2 in the theater first. I saw Halloween 2 before I saw Halloween 1. Yeah. And I had to find, after I saw a lot of clones and knockoffs and imitators, then I finally went back and saw this. And while it's good, and while the music is great, and I appreciate it, and it's definitely technically the best of all the Halloween movies, I just got to it a little too late for it to have its full impact, but I appreciate it for its time. I could tell it's a real winner. That's it for my Halloween ranking. Enjoy your Halloween.